Yo, we are back with another episode of Common Knowledge. Yesterday, I skipped a card and wasn't able to find it again because I didn't see the name of it. This day, we will start with it. So, little secret one here. Funnel Web Recluse is the card that we skipped, and it's okay. It's 4 and a green for a 3/5 spider with reach. It also has Morbid. When this creature enters, if a creature died this turn, investigate. It's fine. It's not even that fine. It's 4 and a green, so a 5 mana green creature. It's no Avenging Hunter, so I don't know. We can go with a 2.7, I guess. 3/5 is okay in stats. Reach is okay, and occasionally making you a clue token is fine. I would really like it if it just had Morbid, and that when any time a creature died, you make a clue token. If it was maybe it was just like a once per turn thing, but then you could start to accrue some real value with it. But as it is, it's just kind of I don't know. I pay 5 mana to now spend another 2 mana. I don't really want to do that. So it's okay, but it's not great. Let's get into the ratings proper. And we'll do Phantasmal Mount for 1 and a blue. You get a 1/1 illusion horse with flying. You can tap it, and target creature you control with toughness 2 or less gets +1/+1 and gains flying until end of turn. When this creature leaves the battlefield this turn, sacrifice that creature. When this creature leaves the battlefield this turn, sacrifice this creature. What? Target creature you control with toughness 2 or less gets +1/+1 and gains flying until end of turn. That's fine. We're okay with this. When this creature leaves the battlefield this turn, sacrifice that creature. So yes, if this thing goes away for any reason, then the creature that you gave flying in the +1/+1 also gets sacrificed. Okay. When this creature leaves the battlefield this turn, sacrifice this creature. Or when the creature leaves the battlefield this turn, sacrifice. I see. Okay, so I was reading it wrong. So if it can stay on the board, I was thinking like, okay, this only gets to use it once, and then both creatures die. But no, that's not what happens. If one of the creatures dies or leaves the battlefield for any reason, then both creatures will go. They'll if one gets sacrificed, if one dies, the other gets sacrificed, and vice versa. That's fine. So if neither of them die, you can keep using this. I do like that this says a creature with toughness 2 or less, not mentioning its power at all. So you are, imagine, I know you can't do this in Pauper, but imagine like a ball lightning. Ball lightning has toughness 2 or less, right? So now I can turn my 6/1 trampler into a 7/2 trampler. Now ball lightning will die because that's what ball lightning does, and this thing will die too. Maybe that's not as good, but there are plenty of creatures out there that have 1 or 2 toughness and just giant powers, and the ability to give one of those things flying seems okay. It makes it a whole lot less frail, or at least more evasive than it was before, and I think that's pretty rad. So I don't think this is good by any means. It's a 1/1 flyer but it's kind of cool. It is kind of cool. I can go for a 2.6. No. I'll even bump it up to a 2.8. I think that's relatively interesting. What do we got next? It's Hasran Ogress for double black. You get a 3/2 ogre. When this creature attacks, it deals 3 damage to you unless you pay 2. That's I guess if you were going way back in the old days, the Arabian Nights days, the Chronicles days, when this card was in that format. Well, it wasn't really called standard at that time. It was like Type 1 or whatever. This is probably pretty aggressive and good if you were playing some kind of red, black, or maybe just mono black aggro kind of deck, and you're able to just out damage the opponent. You don't mind taking a couple damage if you get to deal 3 back to the opponent, and you can take out big chunks and end the game fast. So these things are okay. That's why something like Jackal Pup, which we talked about last week as well, was also pretty good back in the day. Just a Savannah Lions for red, but red just wants the aggressive creatures. Today though, this is bad. You don't really need a drawback on a card like this. Um, and the card isn't good enough on its own to even warrant the drawback, and the drawback just immediately kills it in any sort of Pauper format. So I'll give it like a 1.4. That's too low. That's too low. We'll go for like a 1.8, I guess, because it can still do a good amount of damage if you are trying to do something aggressive, but you just have a multitude of better options than the Ogress right now. Barbed Bloodletter. I like this card. 1 and a black for an artifact equipment with flash. When this equipment enters, you attach it to target creature you control. That creature gains Wither until end of turn. An equipped creature gets +1/+2, and it equips for 2. Yeah, I remember talking about this during the Lorwyn Eclipsed buyer's guide. I think this is a really cool card. I do. I played it in limited and thought it was pretty cool there. I think this could work in Orzhov Blade. I considered, I think I had it in the sideboard for a tiny little bit in Orzhov Blade before taking it out. I still think it's functional there. We just have a few too many good cards for Orzhov Blade at this point to have this really make the cut anymore. But what I like this for is I think this does a decent job against Terror. And that's the deck I'm generally the most worried about. It just sees a ton of play. My friend who plays Pauper has a Terror deck, and I need to I need to stop him. And when I go to the LGS, Terror shows up, pretty frequently there as well. Both mono blue and Dimir versions. But this, giving your creature Wither, having it be flash speed, giving your creature a toughness boost and a power boost, but specifically a toughness boost, generally will keep it alive against the Tolarian Terrors, and then also shrink down the Terrors or the Cryptic Serpents down to something a little bit more manageable for me to either be able to block them in the future or to hit them with some kind of other spell. And that's pretty good to me. I like that. I also like that in Orzhov Blade, I can bounce this back to my hand with Glinthawk, and then be able to flash it back in at another time and get the Wither trigger again. I think those are all pretty good things to consider with a card like this. I think this could totally surprise people, not just because it has flash, but I think it could surprise people in how decent the card is. I think it is a pretty decent card that I like. I guess I don't think it's Pauper playable now that we've not seen it do anything in the format, but I still hold a candle for it, and I think I'm going to continue to do that. I'm going to give this thing a 4.7. Just outside of the realm of Pauper playability, but I like it. Rubble Slinger is 2 and a hybrid Gruul mana for a 2/3 human warrior with reach. Oh, okay. It's like a 2. It's fine. I'm not excited by it. Esper Panorama is a land that taps for colorless, or you can pay 1 and tap it and sacrifice it to search your library for a basic plains, island, or swamp card, put it onto the battlefield tapped, and then shuffle. This probably was okay at one point, but now we just have the Modern Horizons 3 lands that do this. You don't have to pay for it, though. You can just do it. And they also cycle for Esper colors or any 3 mana combination colors if you find the right one. So this is just completely out of the format. And it probably was never really in the format. Fetch lands that make you pay to fetch aren't awesome in 1v1. They're a little bit more tolerated in Commander, but really only it's like Myriad Landscape, and that's kind of the only one. There's one that like finds plains and forests. That's also, is that Croson Verge? Is that Croson Verge? Croson Verge. Boom, look at that. Yeah, Croson Verge is pretty good too, just because, again, like Myriad Landscape, it'll go find you 2 lands. But yeah, these panoramas are just not good at all anymore. I'll give it a 4, I guess. I really have no idea how to score lands that absolutely would not be played in Pauper, but are still fetch lands. Like, that's cool. There's something there, and it comes in untapped and it still makes mana. It's not bad. It's just Not nearly good enough anymore. Burst of Energy is a single white mana for an instant untapped target permanent. I don't think that's good enough for 1 mana. Yeah, I think you need to give it flying, or you need to give it a power and toughness boost. We've seen plenty of cards that do this effect. Now, it does say target permanent, not just creature, so that's... Alright, that's a little something more, because now you can, tap your Selesnya Selesnya Sanctuary, play this, untap your Selesnya Sanctuary, tap it again, and now you spent 1 mana and you've gained, or you make 4 mana, but you spent 1 mana to do it. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I don't think it's good enough though. I really don't. It's cute. You can do some cute things with it, but I think we have just other cards that do kind of this or do something that's similar to this and can generally do a lot more than this too. I'll go for a 2.9. God, that sounds really high. No. 2.7. I feel like I'm giving a lot of those these days. Plague Rats is 2 and a black for a star rat. Plague Rat's power and toughness are each equal to the number of creatures named Plague Rats on the battlefield. So yours and your opponent's. So if you're in the Plague Rat's mirror, oh boy, you guys are going nuts. That's fine. We there's the other rat. I can't remember the name of it offhand, but that's the one that you can have any number of, and it's like a star 1, I think. Star 2, can't remember what it is. Doesn't matter. They're all too expensive for me. I don't want to play one of those decks. But the idea that you can build a deck that's a bunch of those rats and they all get bigger is cool. Rat Colony, that's what it's called. And Rat Colony's cool, but Plague Rats was kind of Rat Colony before Rat Colony. I think I know somebody at my LGS who has like a Dan style deck that's just a ton of Plague Rats, which sounds kind of fascinating. I've never played it. I think it's specifically Plague Rats and not Ravenous, or not. It was not Rat Colony. I think it is Plague Rats, and that's kind of cool. So if when you make up the deck, you can put as many copies as you want, and say screw the rules of Magic. I'm making up my own, and that seems like a neat idea. But from a Pauper perspective, the highest this thing can ever be is a 3 mana 4/4. But then you'd have 4 3-mana 4/4s at that point, and that's probably okay. Again, unless your opponent's playing them too, and then they're all big. But I don't think you can really count on this being much of anything. For the most part, it's going to be a 3-mana 1/1, and that's going to feel terrible. Because it also has to be creatures named Plague Rat, so you can't get around that with something like a changeling creature. The only way you can get around it is by changing the creature's name. I don't think you can do that in Pauper, but there's like Psychic Paper from the Doctor Who set that can change the name of a creature. Okay, are you gonna do that to get a 5/5 Plague Rats? Probably not. So let's go with a... Man, I think this is actually really, really bad in Pauper. I'm gonna give it like a 1.5. Even that feels a little high. Infantry Veteran is a single white mana for a 1/1 human soldier. You can tap it to give target attacking creature +1/+1 until end of turn. This art looks familiar. We've probably done this one before, but I'll talk about it again. Tapping to target attacking creature is a little limiting. I would kind of like to just be able to do this to any creature. Is that what an Angelic Page does? Angelic Page. Oh, it's attacking or blocking, so kinda. I guess it still doesn't work if somebody's trying to bolt my guy. But yeah, I like... And Angelic Page is also in Pauper. I think I just like Angelic Page a lot more than this. Now it costs more, but it also flies. So I like Angelic Page a lot more, and I still wouldn't play Angelic Page in any Pauper deck. So I don't think this guy is anything special. We can go for a... I'll just go for like a 2.1. I guess I'd probably take it over a Grizzly Bear, but not by much. Bonus card time. Crystal Carapace. 3 and a green for an enchantment aura that enchants a creature. Enchanted creature gets +3/+3 and has ward 2, and it also cycles for 2. 4 mana for 3/3 and ward 2. It's not nothing, but it's not a heck of a lot of something either. You're not going to play this in Bogles because you already have hexproof creatures. You don't need the ward 2. I can't really think of another deck that would care about getting an aura on a creature like that. The cycling's nice because cycling's always nice, but it's not particularly nice. So it's just like an okay card all around. I don't really want to spend 4 mana for 3/3 worth of stats, even if it does give you some of that protection with the ward. Yeah, I don't think this is anything all that special. We can go for a 2. I think just a 2 on this one. I think knowing how much mana you're putting into it and all the problems that auras have, as we've detailed time and time again on this channel, I wouldn't really trust it. All right, that's it for this one. We'll see you Wednesday. Bye.